Good evening. This presentation is meant to explore the values and benefits of developing and maintaining a corporate crisis communication social media strategy. This presentation cites non-proprietary white papers and deliverables, as well as highlights open source resources. All correspondence pertaining to this presentation should be addressed to Meghan Roberts at rober439@purdue.edu. What is a crisis communication plan? Well, there are many consequences that stem from being ill-prepared during a corporate crisis or emergency, and it is always best to be prepared with a social media crisis communication plan. So what exactly is a crisis communication plan, and why does it matter? According to the U.S. federal government website, www.ready.gov, part of the importance of a crisis communication plan pertains to how a business must be able to respond promptly, accurately, and confidently during an emergency and in the hours and days that follow. Because many different audiences must be reached with specific information to their interests and needs, the image of a business or agency can be positively or negatively impacted by public perceptions during the handling of such an incident. Reporting inaccurate information can negatively affect a business or agency's reputation for their trustworthiness and their stability. Allowing false rumors to flourish also has a negative effect. Last but not least, it is important to note that a crisis communication plan is only as helpful if the information is both truthful and accurate. Why mix social media with crisis communication? Social media should not simply be viewed as an afterthought, but merely as a forward-leaning and proactive approach. Social media has proven to be the underdog time and time again of relaying time-critical information to the masses. While there is no one-size-fits-all approach for creating such a strategy, it is imperative to tailor the objective of your social media crisis communication plan in order to determine the correct audience to communicate with. What does social media have to do with it? Social media is an emerging topic of discussion for many organizations and agencies alike, with millions of social media sites and pages belonging to businesses and federal organizations. Upon further examination, corporations and governmental entities now use social media more than traditional media when responding to or presenting information pertaining to a crisis or emergency. After all, it is where a good portion of everyday internet traffic drives to, the Web 2.0 platforms. By leveraging social media platforms, businesses have a great cost-effective method of communication that has the potential to yield a highly visible return on investment. And why not? After all, with more and more companies and federal entities jumping on board with social media, it would behoove them to review it as a paperless and cost-effective public affairs approach, and in order to get their message out to the general public. How do I create a crisis communication social media plan? When it comes to corporate social media strategies, setting goals and milestones while properly selecting a target audience is half the battle. Using social media to communicate with stakeholders during a crisis has already proven to be an especially effective use of the medium due to its speed, reach, and direct access to the masses. In recent crises, social media has facilitated the distribution of information to key audiences and media, while also proving a means for dialogue among the affected and interested publics. An example I like to use is the U.S. Navy Command, who has their very own tailored social media crisis communication plan checklist for the individual that day who is behind their tweets and posting on behalf of the U.S. Navy, if and when they have to post or tweet during a crisis. Remember, merely responding on the fly can be reckless. See the image. Who is my social media audience? During an emergency or crisis, the masses flock to social media for a variety of reasons: to express their views, educate and engage with others, and most importantly, find out new information as an event unfolds. And as such, it is important that the informational content is useful to the audience who is reading it. During such a volatile time, such as in a disaster, it is important to choose the right tools for the right audience in order to relay the information in a timely and most accurate manner. It is vital for companies and organizations alike to manage, mitigate, and communicate on social media platforms during an organizational crisis. All social media crisis communication plans and strategies should be specific and applicable to the mission of the organization as well as tailored to that audience. The importance of double-checking social media content. There are several approaches that can be taken when getting a message out via social media and can even help increase a social media following. However, typos or poorly written messages where someone can easily jump to the wrong conclusion may also serve as a concern. Social media posts and tweets should always remain carefully crafted, as even the smallest subset of a message could be misinterpreted or misunderstood. As an example of this, in 2011, the American Red Cross mistweeted and sent a message intended from one Twitter account to another. Some of the major lessons learned from this mistweet were to address the crisis in a timely manner, respond on the same social media forum where the mistweet occurred, be honest, and apologize for such a mistake. In summary, ultimately, social media is not a trend. It is here to stay, and it is important to prepare and adapt corporate communication plans accordingly. Incorporating a crisis communication plan into a corporate social media campaign should ultimately become the centerpiece of a company's social media and communication strategy. Some of the major overall benefits behind crisis communication plans for corporate social media initiatives may include the opportunity to provide credibility and accountability, the ability to measure sentiment and even maintaining, if not improving, ongoing two-way communication with stakeholders and the public. Between maintaining an authentic and open dialogue with the public, creating a tailor-made crisis communication social media plan, and often determining the right audience, companies are often able to overlook hurdles they need to overcome so that they can further become successful on social media. Again, there is no one-size-fits-all approach for developing crisis communication social media plans, but social media has shown to be a cost-effective methodology to help share this information with the public.